It's a product of a democratic process, and he's number one. Number two is the deputy president. Number three is Gwede Mantashe. Number four is Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. I was number five. Diaz, you are number six. Yes. Paul Mashatile, number seven.
Patabili Dlamini, Nomvula Mokonyane, Malusi Gigaba, Mosebenzi Zwane, they've all been accused of corruption and or mismanagement. Yet they are on the ANC's list of candidates and likely to hold high positions in government again after the 2019 elections. The ANC promised us they'd fight corruption and promote ethical leadership, but that's not the message today. We ask, what's behind the political party's final list of candidates that were handed over to the IEC? We have in our Pretoria studio Professor Lesiba Tefo, Research Director at UNISA's Democracy and Governance Programme. Good evening to you, Professor. Talk us through those names and the message there.
Well, good evening. I heard and read about the names, and there isn't much surprising about them for me. I'm neither for or against the names. See, the challenge for me lies in the fact that the ANC would have done better, and you could still do better, if they were to invoke and use that seminal document called Through the Eye of the Needle. Okay. At the time they adopted it, and if they had lived by it, they probably wouldn't find themselves where they are. Either way you look at the list.
But the ANC have said that they've used this document in this list.
They've used it in this list. Then they may as well just ditch it and not even mention it at all, because they don't do anything that that document speaks to, right? If they had used it, certainly certain names would not have been included.
Okay, and I mean, indeed, the ANC Veterans League, excuse me jumping in here, warned that the inclusion of corrupt, tarnished leaders will alienate voters. Do you think that's going to happen?
Undoubtedly. You see, there was a time prior to Ramaphosa taking over that people were toying with the idea and the possibility of a coalition government. And when Tumamina took over, and there was a sense that they were moving in a direction that could even draw back some people who had walked away or got alienated. But I'm of the view now, given what the president said, the Reserve Bank, given the names that have been included today, that they are retreating and reverting to a situation where they might find themselves tickering around 50, if not below 50%.
Okay, obviously Cyril Ramaphosa needs to appease the factions. He needs to try and unite them if possible. I mean, I was gobsmacked. I know he's popular, but considering what he's done to the country, the fact that Jacob Zuma's name was on the list as well. Why do you think his name made it to the list, and why do you think he decided not to be on the list, to reject that offer?
Well, that's a master chess player, right? That's a master chess player. And when did he decide to step and not to avail himself? He walked the gauntlet up to the last minute, and then he pulls out. And it's consistent with how he plays the long game. Look, for me, you're talking about the unity program of Ramaphosa, and I don't see it getting anywhere, because those that were in the fight-back mode, the push-back mode, right, I think they're gaining traction, and they're not going to make it easy for him. He should have bitten the bullet at one stage when he was given an opportunity at least to refresh and to reconstruct his own cabinet at the first instance. But having brought them in gave them more reason to believe that they can fight from within, and they are likely to go to fight from within. And it's very unlikely that, never mind the mandate he gets, that he would be able to exclude them. So I'm saying he would not go far with the unity project, because his greatest enemy and opposition is within the tripartite alliance, and in particular the ruling party itself.
Okay, so he's failing on the unity, failing on the cleanup. Let's talk about the other parties' lists, the DA and the EFF. Any surprises there?
Well, again, I think, okay, let's talk about the EFF. The EFF, for me, for a start, I would have thought they've done it so well, and everything looks so rosy for them. But in the past 12 months, they use a very polarizing, aggressive, and divisive language. When you talk about whiteness all the time, you invoke racism all the time, and you appear to be anti or impervious to any positive influence, then there is no way you can draw, especially the middle class. And I know what they would answer. Their answer would be to me, that is not our target group. Our target group is the youth. But I wonder if they could make it to that extent. Yes, they are doing well. They are on the ascendancy. They look like they will get at least around 10%. But I would have thought they would have done better, and they could still do better.
Okay, before you talk about the DA,
an inclusive language.
Let's just talk about, the hate speech that you're talking about. What about the letter to the IEC regarding the EFF's hate speech towards Karima Brown? The letter is a call to make the EFF eligible to run. Do you think this will have an impact?
No, I don't think it would make an impact. Look, there are certain statements that people make out of that, and there are those that they make plain to the gallery. And I'm for inclusivity. I'm for the values that underpin and undergird our Constitution: reconciliation, nation building, and social cohesion. And I implore the political leadership across the spectrum, at least to ensure that they are guided by those values.
All right. What about the DA?
Well, when it comes to the DA also must be mindful, sensitive, and responsive to the perception out there that those who are calling the shots, those who are behind the throne, not in front, are those of the other color. Yes, I'm in South Africa, and we have to use those categories sometimes to send a message through. And they must deal with that. There is a strong perception out there that the white folks are still calling the shots, and when it matters most, even policies dictated to them. They've done so well, by the way. Numerically speaking, the DA today is more white and more inclusive, more representative than any other party. In fact, if you like, it's more black than white. But again, deal with that perception that is out there. And I think they would do better. The leadership they have, I have confidence in. The leadership the EFF has, learned and educated, yes, I've got confidence in them. Tumamina, as an individual, I think he would do a lot better. He has done well so far. But had he belonged to a different party, he would do better. And what am I saying? Let's change the Electoral Act, that when we have a Ramaphosa, he will be accountable to the people of South Africa, not to a political party, and be beholden to a few influential individuals within the party.
Professor Lesiba Tefo, very good to get your view on this. Thank you very much. Up next, Theresa May, under pressure as MPs gear up to vote on a no-deal exit on the 29th of March. And then the life and times of Pippa Green, the veteran journalist, talks to us about her new role as the South African Press Ombudsman.